Saluto a tutti.
What's up, Juventini? And yeah, I wish this was a victory Sunday, but man, when it rains, it pours. This is starting to feel all too familiar, and we got a lot to talk about, everybody, okay? And it's kind of that game yesterday felt like everything Lou, Joe, and myself discussed about just these current feelings and the situations with the players and manager. It just felt like we saw all of it unfold right before our eyes. All these concerns, all these doubts, just kind of all these question marks. And it feels like, I don't know, everybody's just left feeling the exact same way no matter what stance you were making or you were taking as far as coach versus players, which was the big theme of the show yesterday. But Anth, man, we got a lot to tackle today, and we're going to get your thoughts and input. And I think today we're going to let the Army kind of dictate how this one goes today.
Yeah, I'm here for mental support. I'm here to support you. I'm here to support the Army, try to bring balance to this. But yes, yesterday that was a flaming pile of dog shit that we just have to stomp out. You have to stomp out. You have to clean off your boots, and we got to move forward somehow. I don't know how, but we got to figure it out.
We're going to have to figure something out. That's for sure. All right. We are going to take a couple minutes here, let everybody kind of get in here and get fired up. Alex P, ciao, ciao, ciao. Starting on time. Hey, man, it's my daughter's birthday, by the way. So a big birthday shout out to Lennon, who turns 5 today. And we probably could have used her on the pitch yesterday. I'll tell you that much. She's a little firecracker. But yeah, she keeps us on her toes. Celebrates her birthday today. What a wild one yesterday with I don't know how many kids at the bouncy castles. I was dropping elbows off the top rope like awesome. Macho Man. It was awesome.
That's amazing.
All right, but yeah, good
you
time
what's
at
even
least
better
was
than
had
that?
by all there. Ciao, ciao, MM, ciao, Adam. Let the depression continue. No depression. No depression, okay?
On Adam.
We don't have control over what they do out there. We just kind of dissect, analyze, and still, at the end of the day, support, and we'll see what happens. Tony Tripp, Alberto, and good day. All right, let's go. And the birthday wishes for Lennon, much appreciated, everybody. All right, we got Mal in here, not a frequent just because of time, so we always appreciate when he does make it in here. All right, so let's go. Now, as far as this game, okay, we're gonna get to the lineup, which I think nobody really had any concerns with. Bremer was out, so Tech, Gatti, Rugani, Danilo across the back. You had Cambiaso, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic. You had Yildiz and you had Vlahovic up top. Now, of course, after the game and whatnot, question marks come up about personnel decisions and everything. But we are going to talk after we get through the highlights and talking points about making these decisions. Okay, and why I kind of feel a certain way about what Max has done, and we'll take it from there. Okay, but as far as the game goes, I gotta say it was kind of wild, how it started off so just wide open in terms of Verona coming at us and us going back at them, and man, 10 minutes in we get stung. This guy's going to take, for lunch show, is going to take this shot another 2,000 times and never get it like that.
100% correct.
And that was, like I said, when it rains, it pours. This guy could do that another 2,000 times. He ain't hitting it like he did there. Credit to him. Kudos to him. Nice goal, okay? 1-0 down for Juventus. Now, Juve, again, like I said, we were still going back and forth with them. I never felt comfortable this entire game with how much space they had to work against us and how easy it was for them to get down into our final third and everything like that. So there was a big time issue there for Juventus. And I will remind everybody that this is in a 3-5-2 that is set up to literally support our mid, stabilize, and give us defensive coverage and everything. And we got carved up. Like, it was just brutal to watch, okay? But we'll continue on because Juve puts pressure on, ultimately leading to a long throw-in from McKennie. And I think a lot of his, assistance in attack is probably those long throw-ins, okay? So
it's like a corner kick.
Yeah, gets over to Kostic. He takes a rip, which I'm fine with. Gets lucky, hits the defender's hand, which was sticking out. Hey, okay, let's take it. PK. Vlahovic steps up. Beautiful PK.
Love it.
Equalizes. Okay, we're back in. Let's wake the fuck up. That's what we were all saying. Wake up now. Okay? Wake up now. But nothing outside of that really changed. And to be honest, like the rest of the first half, it was just a lot of blunders, the same blunders a lot of us have been talking about for a while with these players making brutal decisions. And the commentator was pointing this out left, right, and center. He goes, and especially with Kostic, he was ripping on Kostic. He goes, I just don't understand these passes and these decisions. He goes, they are taking away potential opportunities for hits on target or chances. And he said the final balls in for the forwards were piss poor. He never once mentioned a different strategy or different approach or anything. He just said these guys are not hitting the mark. And
yeah, we were getting into the final third. Like, we were getting into the final third.
Yeah.
Like, let's not say that we weren't. Early on, I think Yildiz had one or two block shots inside the 18. He had a couple good chances. Just the defender did well to block it. Whether he took too much time, whether the pass was too slow to get there. So I don't think we had some half chances, but nothing clear cut based on like what you're saying on the amount of space that we had. Should have had way more chances in that first half, at least something on target, because I don't even know how many shots we got on target in the first half. I didn't even check that. But yeah, it just wasn't clean. It's just why. But I will say, defensively, yes, they had their space, they had their opportunities to maintain possession in and around the area. I never really felt uncomfortable with the amount of time they had. Verona wasn't going to sting us. Well, they did, but they didn't have that sort of. They don't have that player that's going to come out and sting you. It was going to be our own mistakes.
And that's why I say, like, the whole time I've been saying I'm with this, sticking with this if you go back to earlier in the season, is because of what we saw yesterday. Turnovers. We turn the ball over in the final third so much. So for me, when people are talking about tactics, approach, and style, like, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting where we need to be. That final decision and everything like that for me is like, from even my playing days, and that we'll get you talking about your playing days. I've never had a coach explain or teach to me a million different scenarios and what to do in every single instance. I've never seen a coach do that. Okay. And I've played mid, I've played attack, I've played out as fullback. Like, I've played I've never seen a coach, when I've been in an attacking position, okay, playing up there, say, hey, if this happens, this is what I want you to do. If this. No. I've never seen that. The decisions are made by the players. The coach chooses who he wants to ride with out of who he has in his group and who's making better decisions more frequently. And for that and Kostic, I agree with the criticisms then if we're making a call on Kostic.
And yes, Alex, the rules were the same when I was playing to what they are, except I do remember being able to pass it back to the goalie and they could pick it up with their hands.
Actually, yeah.
I do remember this. You must remember that too. I
remember that too, but it wasn't actually still in while I was going through a plane. But I do remember
the summer. I do remember the summer where our coach said, "Okay, you can't pass it back. You can, but he can't." We're like, "Well, what about with his thigh?" Yes. What about? Yeah, we had to explain it. We're like,
"Yeah."
Oh, okay. Anyways, we digress.
Alex B taking shots early on here, easy. Okay, so
it just comes back to fundamentals. It's
Yeah.
really
And
what do players have to do with the ball? Do you have a shot on net? You take it. If you don't, what's the next thing you do? You find someone who does have a shot on net. If that's not the next pass, what is it? You find an open player. It's just the basic fundamentals were just it just kind of gets lost in the final third, and that's not something that's new to yesterday.
yeah.
Don't kid yourselves.
No.
That's been around for. I know there's been good stretches here. I have the numbers up. We've been scoring in bunches here and there and having good win streaks, but those are like 1-0, 2-0 wins. Like we've had this problem all year.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was really magnified.
Yeah, it's the errors. It's the errors, and it helped Verona come back at us because we were coughing the ball up so much. I think Rabiot finished with like a pass percentage just under 70%. And somebody can maybe correct. I think he finished with a pass percentage of 67%. Kostic was getting up there. We were all forward if he's the left wing back, and he was throwing the ball I don't even know where. Now, again, we'll move forward. We'll get to second half here, but that's what I saw, and I think it played to Verona's hand. 46 minute, they start off coming right at us second half, and this is player attitude, and you could take Allegri into account here for the attitude, the demeanor coming out through the second half because it was flat. It was flat.
Okay, now you and I, we've been not flip flopping on Allegri, but we're Allegri backers because we're the manager backers for this team. He has to take some onus for how this team comes out in the second half.
Yeah.
It can't be like, oh, these players don't know what they're doing. And look, it's Max's tactics, but there's also the part of getting the players ready mentally for this game and for the second half. And that is something that hasn't happened since that Empoli draw.
Yeah. And I will say this, because yesterday I said on the show, out of the three of us, Lou was the one that came right out and said, I am fine sticking with Allegri still for one more year. I said I'm neither Allegri in, neither Allegri out, okay? Because for me, I'm just going to analyze everything that I see. I will give the coach his heat where he gets it. I will give the players their heat where they get it. But second half, I think he does have to take some heat for how flat they come out, and the players have to do it too. But this is going to play into what I have to say on the second goal for Verona, okay? Because they start off, they come at us hot. They get a header just over Szczesny's goal, okay? But he's on it. 52nd minute. This is absolutely, it's just shambles from Juventus, okay? Yeah. Absolute fucking shambles. I was livid, okay? Absolutely livid. We stood there and watched this goal develop. Yeah. Okay, so Kostic is on the outside. Our three midfielders, none of those three have any fucking clue where the players are for Verona, okay? And Rabiot is working on the left side with Kostic, has no idea that a player has made a move in behind him. Kostic is aware. He sees it. He fucking takes 2 steps there and then stops. This forces Danilo to bail out on the man he's fucking watching. He jumps forward. Guess what? You're dead to rights now because they poke the ball by, and then whatever the hell this guy's name is, I don't even know, Nozlani or whatever the fuck, Noslin, he scores. And I was losing my fucking mind at how brutal that goal is. And I said, if I'm Max Allegri at that point, and I even tweeted it right at that second, I said, take these clowns out and put all the young kids in. And I don't even think these guys would get the message because I don't think they have the brains, the balls, or the fucking guts. That goal is pathetic to allow. That's how I felt. Anth, let's hear yours, but I was livid.
It was just too easy. You know what I mean? Like you're 1-1. I know you're 1-1. You're away. You're kind of down yourselves, but you can't. You're gifting that you're gifting goals to people. That's just, you can't have these mental lapses, and that's what this whole game's been. That's what the last 3 games have been, just mental lapses. You can't do it. And Max has said this: you got to stay focused, but that is also on you, Max. And is that getting your message across? Is that, to your point, switching out the players, making changes at halftime? Now, if he had made changes at halftime, might have burnt us even more, with the Danilo injury at the end of the game. But man, something had to change at halftime, and it did, and it
I
cost us.
I see a goal like that where they're watching. You know what? You can watch from the bench. That's where you can watch if you're going to be out there and you want a better view. I'll give you a better view. You could sit on the bench and watch the goals if that's how you want to play. I would have brought in Caviglia. Locatelli can get out. I would have brought in Moretti even though he hasn't done anything to warrant it. But send a message because this shit can't fly and they can't get a pass for it. Max will take the heat, but these guys have to step up. That's just unacceptable. That's an embarrassing goal to allow. Now, nonetheless, we carry on, okay? And we didn't have to wait very long. We got back at them, okay? They made a brutal error at the back. Locatelli pounced on it, gets the ball over to Rabiot quickly. He slots home, okay? Slots home, and that's probably all he did that game, but it was big. At least we can get a point out of this thing or whatever, but let's approach it. Let's get after the win. And the thing is, they made a push, and again, we were getting final third. There's just not a whole lot there. Alcaraz enters. Chiesa enters. Chiesa had an opportunity in the area, and he missed it on his left foot, trying to go far post. Got it over the goal. In the 91st, he works a great give and go.
Hang on. That Chiesa miss, he's done this before this season. That's got to be on target. What are we talking about?
Has to be on target.
Like
it's almost right foot. It's almost exactly like that one earlier in the season, but he was more central and right at the top of the 18.
That's right.
It's got to be on target. I don't give a shit if it's your off foot. He did play well, though. I will say, as Mark says, he played well. But those have to be on target for your top guys.
That's got to be on target. I do not care how well you played. That has to be on target.
A great give and go with Alcaraz in the 91st minute. That's got to get. And I mean, he hit target. Montipo made a Hextall-like kick save, but
kick save to beauty.
I feel like
gotta be in the back of the net.
You gotta hammer that home.
If that's Dusan Vlahovic, this group chat right here would be on fire right now.
Yeah.
Get him out of my club. That guy's got it. That's what we pay him to do. Didn't hear a lot about that with Chiesa yesterday. He had 2 chances to score.
Yeah.
Gotta be the same thing.
But he did play well. He played better than he did against Udinese. I will say that.
But his job is to score. That's what he gets paid for.
At the end of the day, though, we're in the same spot, okay? Here's a draw, okay, against Verona, which may as well have been a loss. And for me, this match was pathetic. It was overall pathetic. I didn't like the goal we allowed. I didn't like how suspect we looked at the back, and people that are okay selling Bremer, that is all the evidence I need to say fuck that. Like seriously, Ant. Like I am nowhere near that point after watching that.
I don't get the Bremer sale. People.
So for me,
I try to understand people, but that one I don't.
For me, that's a hell no. Okay, like that showed me. Okay, Gatti I think had a brutal game. I don't think he was strong enough. I think he got even into that questionable situation there where everyone's trying to tell him like, hey, take it easy, don't lose your heads, and that tells me that there's some doubt amongst the players themselves as to who's actually focused and who's staying locked in and where we are. And it shows me that we're a little loose there. But I didn't like Gatti's performance. I did not like Rabiot's performance. Kostic, like it was bad.
Who performed well?
What?
You want also who performed? I think it's a shorter list.
Honestly,
who performed well yesterday?
Honestly, one of the signs that I think kind of tells us more about what's going on right now is that I think an 18-year-old played probably steady throughout the whole game, and it was Kenan Yildiz. And I liked his attitude throughout the entire match, and I think it was up there, and that kind of speaks volumes. But I did like, I don't think I had any problems with Vlahovic in his game. I don't think I had really any problems with Cambiaso other than some decisions out of what he was doing. But at the back, I think they were pretty rough, man. They were pretty rough, scattered. It didn't look controlled. It didn't look at ease. And the midfield, not enough. Not enough from the guys there.
I thought we
Not
started to
enough.
look better once Alcaraz came in.
Yeah, and now we'll get into kind of this whole thing with Max and the players, okay? And I'm just going to, the chat, the AJC Army, you guys can dictate where this show goes
Help us
from
out.
here on out, okay?
You steer.
You guys storm the barn. It can be storm
Fire
the barn
away.
at any point. Fire the questions out about this current team and everything. But I'm going to explain something about how I feel with this team right now. I want to get Ant's thoughts, and then you guys can drive this show. You guys can dictate it, okay? For me, when I look at this team, and I understand that people, you can look at this team on paper and you can say, yes, we can't have these results against 15 spot, 17 spot, 18 spot. I agree 1,000%. Our players are better than that. But are they showing it? Are they showing it lined up to the men across from them on other teams? Because it's fine for us to say our players are better than that. But why do we say that? Is it their wages? Or is it what they actually do on the pitch? Because a lot of the time, what they do on the pitch doesn't just show me that they are better than what we are getting. They have shown that in games, which is why I'm not questioning our system or our style or approach. Yesterday, yet again, we easily gain the final third, and we trip on our own dicks left, right, and center, okay? We just keep stumbling. And yeah, I know, probably a better term out there, but I don't give a shit. Like, what are we doing? So are they showing it to us or are they not? Now, as far as the coaching aspect goes of it, this is why I kind of feel for the guy. As a coach, you decide who you want to ride or die with. And we can question that maybe Max is using guys in roles that they're just not capable of. Okay? Which is maybe fair. You're asking Rabiot to kind of drive offense and create and or score a bunch of goals, but he did do it last year, but that's okay. Maybe he's not for that role. McKennie, maybe he's not for that role. But somebody pointed out to me he's got 26 chances created, which is up there with other mids off Fiorentina, off Bologna, etc. But I said, where's the goal tally? Because it's not just about chance created. It's offensive-minded midfielders. It's technically sound midfield. It's everything. It's a lot more. Because, yeah, if you put his numbers next to Bonaventura, for instance, he's right up there with more chances created. However, Bonaventura's also got a bunch of goals and a bunch of assists and has strong numbers and is actually better technically than McKennie. So it's not apples to apples. However, if you want to change the roles of the players, what is Max going to do? Because Miretti has had a million opportunities to be that creator out of the midfield and drive out. He hasn't done it. He hasn't been anywhere close to it, in my opinion. If you're going to ask for, what, Hans Nicolussi Caviglia? Like, I don't think he's going to be game-breaking for us, you guys. I think he can play in there, and I think he should get more minutes, but I'm not willing to make a claim like he is going to change the world, so to speak, around Juventus right now.
Who's this season's Rabiot? Like Rabiot was it last year? Who's doing that? Who's blowing it out the box this year?
I don't think none of them. None of them out of the middle. So my thing is, Max is he's given these guys so much leash. And maybe to his fault, he should be going to these other names, but this is why I feel hard done by for him and kind of sympathize with him. So I don't think these other guys are going to get it done either, to be honest. And I don't think a system, if our midfield gets carved up sometimes the way they do in a 3-5-2, going to a 4-3-3, and then playing to the strengths, are our strengths these guys up top that we gain the final third for them, but they cough the ball up left, right, and center? Is that our strength? Is that where we should push to? I think we open up a whole different can of worms.
That's a good point.
Like, for me, that's why I got infuriated yesterday, because Max has give these guys a ton of leash. I just think I don't think they're rewarding him, and they may have just quit on him again. And my final point is, before we get to Ant, taking the players, their consistency and their accountability out of it, it feels like it's these past 2 years all over again. And even if he isn't at fault, we can't keep hitting this stone wall. And sooner or later, you do just have to change that, even if it isn't all on him, because we can't keep hitting this brick fucking wall year in, year out. And
it happens.
He is in a seat that takes the brunt of the heat. Those are my thoughts, everybody. We're gonna get Ants, and then you guys can fire away. Ant?
Yeah. So for this one, I'm leaning a little bit more on it being the players giving up than it is Max letting the players down. Because up until the Empoli game, we were rolling, right? We had one loss on the season. Everything's going well. Second place easily, no issues. We're probably going to get some draws here and there. So maybe some more big wins, but we hit this rut. Even Max said it in his post-game presser. He says, one thing I didn't like what he said, and hopefully this is just something missed in translation. He said, we need to rebuild the fire slowly. That's the one thing I'll put on Max. I'm like, no. You need to light this bitch up as fast as you can, because you can't keep rolling with this. Somebody put it in the notes here, and it's true. We're only 9 points up on Bologna with 13 games to go.
Yeah.
The way we're playing now, we're not going to lose 3 games in that 13-game stretch. The other point is, another thing he said was, we have to get over the disappointment of Empoli and Inter. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. You guys should be over that by now. So that's on him as well. But we haven't changed the players. If you look at the record that we had before that Empoli game, it's the same players. It's the same system. We haven't changed anything. So for me, I put 51% of it on the players' attitude, and I put 49% of it on Max getting them ready for these games. We have one game a week. What are we doing all week? Maybe you want to know something? I'll put that to the AGC Army. Is that a detriment because you have all week to stew on it, and you don't have those Champions League or midweek games to you have to rebound quickly and start thinking about something else? Is it too much time to stew on those losses or those down games? But there is no lighting this fire slowly. They got to turn this around quick.
Yeah.
We got some tough ones in March.
I mean, you can't sit there and dwell on that, but this also plays into these players and mentality and everything. Like, I just see the fragility in this side. And yesterday, like, this whole kind of span now shows me they're just not as mentally strong as I was giving them credit for, going on that run, not seeing blackouts where we were all kind of hesitant and waiting and concerned about the blackouts. They look a completely different side. And if they're going to break that easily, well, why are they breaking that easily? Is that coach? Is that players? Because the majority of our fan base puts it on coach. Your mentality is driven by the coach. It's everything. But at the same time, you're watching these guys on the pitch and have a little bit of pride. Have a little bit of fucking pride. I can't give a pass to anybody in this instance right now, coach or players. I felt like it was pathetic yesterday. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Am I at a point where the majority of our fan base believes a coach comes in and would do way better with this side? I don't think so. I actually don't think so. How much better? Would it be better? Okay, maybe a bit, but how much better? I don't know, you guys, but there's definite issues that we have there, but certain ones that I don't think we can avoid are the fact that we are still missing some roles in terms of the roster.
Yep.
How different could things have been with a Fagioli available this season? And maybe with Pogba even for whatever, 20 games, 15 games, whatever. I would take him at 15 games over anybody else I've seen in the midfield.
Yep.
Alcaraz has just gotten here. So he could maybe play a part down the stretch. All I know is whatever the hell happens, we have to turn this around. In the summer, though, I think there is big changes coming, to be honest.
I thought 3 players. I think they might need more.
I can't see, Juntali and Mana, whatever, like not seeing the gaps, not seeing the holes. I think like Calvo is a big, he's a big proponent of the DNA. Like he's a big DNA guy. And that's why like when we heard all the time about, wants to bring in ex-players, wants these Juventini around, was big on Juntali coming in and everything like that. Like he is a big proponent of that. I can't see him looking at this and thinking, okay, this is all right, or we can continue with this. Like I can't see it. I can't see it, everybody. So
we gotta storm the barn if you want to scroll up a little bit.
I think there is going to be some changes here. I just missed a couple because the chat's just firing here, but I'll try to just fire them again. If you had one in there that we go, I'll go with the first one that's popping up right now, and it's right here from Mark. And it's, can you think of an instance when Max has said he got it wrong? It is always outward. He generally protects his players, but he always protects himself. It is what I hate the most. You know what? If I look at Max's pressers, and I said this, I can't remember how long ago I said it, but he's like, even at the best of times, he gets a lot of shit, and a lot of flack. And sometimes I feel like the pressers, and I'm not going to say I'm not kind of annoyed by some of the things he says, because I have, and I've openly discussed them, but sometimes I feel like they're jabs at the disrespect, and like he's doing it purposely. I just
almost like he doesn't want to give him anything to write about.
Just it's just
facts, and that's it.
It's one of those things, right? But as far as accountability for himself, it has kind of frustrated me probably more so the first 2 years than it has this year. Because the first 2 years, we heard a lot about players missing and players injured and all that and whatnot. But to be honest, this year, he hasn't really said fuck all about Pogba and Fagioli. And he's talked about this team and the guys moving forward in general, but I understand the frustrations with Max's words. But I mean, if I'm looking at coaches around there, are any coaching options 100%? Klopp, who everybody's on his dick right now, whines and complains like no tomorrow. Fucking complains like crazy. One of the things that bothers me about him. Okay? Pep acts like he hasn't spent all the money in the world. Like
$1 billion.
What are we talking about here? I could pick apart any coach you give at me. So I'm not going to put a lot of weight on what the words are anymore, because it's more so what's getting done and what we have to work with and what the players are. But I could easily go at anybody for words or comments they say. Sarri walked in here and said our players are untrainable. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's at the end of the day, we just got to look at the results. And like I said, Max is choosing who he wants to ride or die with. While I don't believe these players are doing shit, he's going to probably take the hit for it, because I don't think he's got other alternatives. And I think
saw someone wrote in here, "Oh, Black Mamba, Klopp brings but Klopp brings results. Not in Italy, he hasn't brought them in Italy before.
Klopp spent barely any, like, not much less than Pep. Okay. Oh, De Zerbi, don't get me started on De Zerbi's words. Okay. If we're talking about a guy who's happy to be here, participation ribbons, I would rather lose my way. Okay, well, right there, you lost me. Right there, he lost me. When he says, I would rather lose, I'm just happy to coach the game the way I believe it. Wow. No, thank you. Okay? No, thank you.
That's not going to fly. That's not going to fly at Juventus. Neither
so
is...
we can pick apart any of these guys.
Right.
But the thing is, like I said, we can't keep hitting these stone walls. And that's why I think Max is ultimately going to see his goodbye. Okay? I really do. I really do. Pierre, coming in here, do you think the negativity in the fan base around the team and especially the coach is a major contributing factor to this current spiral? Messages in Times Square, for fuck's sakes, they would have seen that. They did see that. I think if that's the case, then it's even more mentally weak.
Massive problem.
Yeah. If the negativity in the fan base, like when you're talking about fans that are as passionate as football fans in general, let alone Juventus fans, Max said that perfectly. Maybe about a month ago or 2 months ago when he was taking heat for probably how he made his coffee in the morning. But he said it. These players need to understand what it's like at Juventus. Because the pressure, the scrutiny, the criticism, it never goes away. Even when you're winning. Even when you're winning. So, Pierre, if that's affecting them, then we have bigger problems.
Massive issues. Yep.
Bigger problems. If that's. Now, you guys are going to continue on with this. We'll roll through with everything you have. More Storm the Barn, and then we'll kind of take a look moving forward. And the team and lineups and schedule and everything, okay? So Swarit's saying, why not play a 4-3-3 against Frosinone? Cambiaso as a left back, Luca, Rabiot, Alcaraz as the midfield trio, and then the trident of Dusan, Yildiz, and Chiesa. Okay, so do we believe we're at the point where that absolutely has to happen now to turn things around? You could argue that.
No.
You still wouldn't?
No.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we got a little bit of a taste of something yesterday, right? And then Max infuriated the fan base by shutting it down pretty quick, right? Because we did have we had Vlahovic, we had Chiesa and Yildiz out there for a brief period, right?
So we had them out there for 9 minutes.
Okay. So we had him out 9 minutes, and then we ended up getting the change because Yildiz was the one removed to make way for Alcaraz. So, and Max even spoke about the 4-3-3, saying he's tried it, okay, and it's a decision, it's something they're preparing for, something about it, I don't know what. I can't get into this guy's mind as to why not do it, but I would have to, if I had to take a guess, if you're playing a 3-5-2 and you keep coughing the ball up and you are opened up easily, a 4-3-3 gives our midfield, which is a phase in the game where we are all frustrated with, it gives them more coverage. It gives them more responsibility. It puts more on their plate. He has tried two-man pivot out of the 3-5-2. And I'd be more willing to go that route and try it that way. Maybe you go 3-4-2-1 with Yildiz and Chiesa ahead of your two pivots and Vlahovic up top. I'd be more willing to try that, a subtle change, than a 4-3-3. I don't think this team has the mental capacity right now where it's at to shift into a 4-3-3 right at this moment. So I would do something more subtle like a 3-4-2-1 and say, okay, we are gonna try and turn the tide and put an extra attacker out there. I would try that first.
What? Why would we change formation against a team that's actually been scoring? If you were going to change formation, it would have been against a team yesterday that's in the relegation zone. Frosinone, people are like, oh, let's try something against this team. You don't think this team's not going to jump up and bite us in the ass quicker than Verona has? Like, I don't know. I think we should be able to handle it. But what was the first time we played Frosinone? What was that score? 2-1 last time. Yildiz induced. I think that was Yildiz's first goal. Yep.
If we're looking at Frosinone, and this is going to be them traveling into Turin, have they even won one game away from home though?
No, I can check that.
They haven't. There's 3 draws and 9 losses away from home. It's a different team when they travel. I don't know why, but they're brutal away from home. And just in general, I think a 3-4-2-1 is something I would lean towards before going to.
They're the worst team in the league away from home.
Yeah, I would go 3-4-2-1 and do something kind of along those lines. Personally, that's just me personally, everybody. But yeah, I mean, as far as going with a 4-3-3, I just think it's a little too much, a little too soon. We can get the attackers out in what we're doing now and still have some type of protection. I don't have the faith in the midfield to rock 3 of these guys with less protection kind of around them and flooding the midfield.
And I don't have the faith. I really don't have I don't have the faith in the team to be able to mentally handle a lineup change or a system change. Like, what are we talking about here? I think we can't even figure out the 3-5-2 that we've been playing for 2 years. You guys want to change it 24 games into a season? What are we talking about here? You think this team's going to be able to handle that? People switching into positions. The passing yesterday, all the passes we missed yesterday would be 10 times as worse if we go to a 4-3-3.
Yeah. It's everybody's opinion, man. 4-3-3, shift it, okay, but
I understand let's try something new. I get that.
Yeah.
But logically, it's not going to be like we'll just slide right into a 4-3-3.
Going to the what we should try new and why, just another reason for everybody is backing what I thought previously, okay? When I was talking to you guys about the roles he's asking the players to do, change that a bit. Change that a bit first because it's less drastic. I don't think these guys, I'm with you, Ant. I don't think we go to a 4-3-3 immediately. Try the 3-4-2-1. Luca and Rabiot have been working in a pivot periodically through that winning stretch, and it looked good. You've got Yildiz, you've got Alcaraz that could play ahead of them. You've got Chiesa, he can also play ahead of them like that. Just try a 3-4-2-1. Chiesa could still have his freedom there. Yildiz can work centrally where he kind of likes to operate. Try it. Alcaraz can easily slot in one of those positions as well. If you need help at the pivot side, you still have Hans Nicolucci Caviglia around that can offer that help there, that could play in one of those roles. I think we could do that a lot easier, and it would be less drastic and easier for these guys to tackle, less of a change. The roles, asking guys to play roles more suited to their abilities, that might be where Max is failing.
Fair enough.
But it's got to be up to the guys that get those opportunities then to make it evident that he's making those mistakes. And that's kind of the point I'm making is they really haven't. So we'll see. Who do you prefer in our back three? I'm going to be honest here. I'm starting to think like your go-to would be Danilo on the right, Bremer in the heart, and Rugani on the left.
That was my 3 right off the top of my head. Yep.
That's my 3, to be honest, based on what I've seen this season and all the work. I'm not giving up on Gatti, but it's frustrating to see some games where it's just so far from locked in and as focused as it needs to be. And it hurts everybody down the line. And it hasn't always been Gatti. Because other times it's been Danilo. they all three of them have to be locked in together in that back three. And the second you have one of them that's dragging behind, it starts to hurt. It starts to hurt tremendously. But yesterday, I can't agree with anybody that believes Bremer's presence wasn't missed. They looked shaky. Okay?
I will say Rugani gave up a couple weird fouls yesterday, but hey, he hasn't been playing very much. Another thing I noticed yesterday, no cards in that game. Zero cards, 0 yellow cards.
Well, we were soft.
Now, there should have been one on Yildiz on that build-up play. Probably one on for Juventus, but really there's no cards. Yeah. Side note. Anyways.
Yeah. So Chris criticizing Rugani's playing time, which I think we all kind of did too. It was very strange, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said, hey, as a coach, you live and die by those types of decisions and who you want to back. The one thing was the results were coming, now not so much. Sev, Max was offered the job at Real Madrid before coming back here. Do we really think if Ancelotti came here with this exact team, the results would be any different? So we're talking about Ancelotti coming to this Juve side, taking this team and getting
2 years
different
ago.
results.
He may have demanded different players. There would have been different spending, different coaching staff.
I still think, and Ancelotti is an interesting one because he totally changed. Ancelotti used to be the 4-4-2 guy, like die on the hill 4-4-2.
Mm-hmm.
He made a change, okay, and it was starting to be the players and almost letting the players decide what he does and what's going on. What is interesting, if you want to look at Ancelotti and what he's doing over there, and we talk about player positions and these guys are out of positions. Jude Bellingham, look at the position he's fucking playing. He's a midfielder before going there. And look at what he's doing. Ancelotti, would he do much more with his team? I don't know. It's a speculative question that I still stand firm that I don't know if it's better, that it's drastically better. Again, when we're talking about expectations going into this season, mine were top two, battling for the title, while not anticipating the leaders almost being at record-setting pace, and Coppa Italia. But now,
okay, well,
shit's getting in jeopardy.
Here's a question for you then. Here's a question for you then. Let's just say, we'll play the game. Let's just say Max is gone next season. Is there any coach that can do better with this squad? We don't bring anybody in the summer. Do you think it's possible for a manager to squeeze more juice out of this squad? I don't think it is. I think Max is squeezing as much as he can out of this squad. Now there's some, obviously there's improvements that can be made everywhere. I get that.
This is the big argument, man. I'm watching pundits go out there and say like he's done a good job with what he has, and I'm watching others say no, they play terrible, whatever. It's the same in our fan base. Has he done what he can, or is there more available? I don't know how much more somebody else would be getting. I don't know. Like we're just speculating. As far as a coach comes in, who knows how that's going to play out? I hope it's better, but I just feel like when we're talking about the players too, and everybody's standing back on this. These players are capable more, whatever. But what are they doing that gives you that faith? Mm-hmm. You've got a Federico Chiesa who is far from consistent. Health concerns, has had multiple stoppages this season. Okay, is on 4 goals, 5 goals, whatever. I don't know. Vlahovic had his pubalgia issue, had a long drought in the heart of this season where he looked not even close to the player we need or we've had. You have Adrian Rabiot, who has had 1 strong year out of 5. You have Kostic, who, Jesus Christ, I can't even know where to begin with. The
That's a good
alternatives,
summary.
I'm sorry if anybody's sold on Illing Jr. Being this make all, break all, whatever, okay? I'm not seeing it. Weah was our one signing this summer. Strong preseason. Thank you for that.
That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've got Gatti, who was a signing, last year? And still has a long way of polishing to go. It's... I can't... And then you have the Pogba and Fagioli fiasco. I'm not confident in saying somebody else walks in amidst this and just, boom, we're miles better. I just don't have that confidence, you guys. Forza Juve, what's Conte known for? What's our biggest problem? I don't believe Max is the problem, but mentality is. Conte is a master at creating a winning mentality. Would you go for Conte in the summer? If we want to play the game of what coach we would want in a scenario, I'm not... I don't know. I don't know. If you're giving me Conte and Malta, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because a part of me is
Conte
so
comes
done
in
with...
hot. Conte's like a gasoline fire. He burns hot at the beginning, but when it starts to die down, it dies down fast.
Oh, like man. Like,
once it starts losing gas, it is never good. Conte is never a good end. It's a great start.
This is another thing, going back to what I've been saying too, is I feel like if Conte walked into this dressing room tomorrow, he's going to be like, where are the men? Like, he's going to be like, where are the fucking men around here?
Yeah, he would break a lot of people, I think. A lot of people
easily. I think he would break half these guys, because you got a coach right now that protects them. And I think it would be the biggest culture shock, and they would be just broken. Mm-hmm. So I think it would take, probably a summer for him to get that going, whatever. And he needs a summer. But
I wouldn't bring him in, but
I'm done with returns. People would want to. I'm done with returns.
Something new.
I would go with Malta if it was between the two of them. And even in saying that, the part that bothers me is that I don't want a guy getting their first crack at a big team being Juve. And that's the kind of thing that kind of hits me with Malta, besides the whole Inter thing and the fact, all that shit. But I kind of feel a certain way about a guy getting his first big team crack at Juve. But in a position where we're at now, I kind of feel weird about it. But I would lean towards Malta. That's just me, you guys. Now, as far as... we got the Spalletti. So it was Spalletti and Conte until Spalletti took that Italy thing, went down like this with Mancini. That was crazy. But Conte has very much been in the mix. I want to remind all of you, next Saturday, we have Mirko Di Natale on the show.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be cool, because we're going to be able to get some insight. As far as the Conte thing, there's been discussions had, okay? And this is why I feel like we are going down the road of big changes being made this summer, okay? Mm-hmm. We're going down the road. I believe there's going to be big changes. Roster, and I do believe we see a managerial change. I really do. I don't think that these guys in the management are, if I look at everything as a whole, the emphasis on the fans, okay? Bringing back the stadium atmosphere, all this, and just perception and kind of regaining this bill, working on the trust from the fans and everything. I'm not saying that they're going to make decisions based on how the fans feel or anything like that, but I just feel like they're pushing...
As a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, they're just pushing to something like new almost. Reviving certain things, but something new. I don't know that they keep everything the same. I feel like changes are coming, okay? In terms of Conte, I'm shocked that Romeo Gresti has stuck to this 0% chance thing, because there is 100% been meetings, been discussions. He is in the mix. He is waiting for that role. Okay. Malta is going to be an interesting one to see what happens. But I want to ask everybody else a question. If it were possible to make the change, if you pull the trigger, like you could just make the coaching change right now in this moment in time of the season, do you do it? Say Conte could come in tomorrow, or you can't bring Motta, okay? But if Conte could come in tomorrow, would you do that? I say no.
Nope.
And the reason I'm going to get answers is because you let these guys work themselves out of their shit. Otherwise, these players get off the fucking hook way too easy. So no, you guys are the same guys that were believing, okay, in this Scudetto chase. You let one game out of Empoli flip your wigs. No. It's not one role. You guys need to man up. No, you don't make that change right now. You wait till season's end. But again, everybody's saying easily. Yes. Pierre's saying no. Not this season. Adam, no. Ant, you said no. How come?
Because it's such a monumental shift mid-season. People are like, oh, you just fire the coach. Oh, he's gone. No, there's like other staff members that leave. Like behind the scenes, there's a big disruption in the whole clubhouse. And sort of to your point, I don't think the team, the players, and maybe also some of the people managing it could handle it. I don't think they could handle it. I think it would be nice for maybe a week or two, but I really do think that Max holds things together more than people actually see. Holy shit!
Yeah,
right. I think he does a lot more behind the scenes. I think he's not doing as much, but or as much as he should. But he's held this team together through a lot of shit last year, which I don't think he gets enough credit for.
Yeah, and Alex,
do I see him here next year? Probably not, but mid-season, no chance.
Yeah. Aren't the Curva behind Max? The Ultras are behind Max. Yes. But, I still said, like, not to say that they're making decisions based on what the fans feel or not. I just feel like they're building towards kind of something new. I think if there was doubts, let's just put it this way. If there was doubts last season, if we hit a stone wall again, because we're not out of this yet, everybody. Like, we still got to work our way out. You guys have highlighted we're 9 points up on Bologna all of a sudden?
13 to go.
You have to still work through this. If we hit this wall again like this, it's going to be interesting. But I feel like changes are coming. But I can't pinpoint it right now. Nobody knows. Giuntoli's such still this unknown to us, right? And
this is something that I hope we could ask Mirko next week. If anyone who follows the AGC news, it's pretty locked up. There's not a lot of news. Like, there's a lot of news sort of like from the Gazzetta and all the other, people want to generate clicks. And, we report what everybody's saying, right? We don't say whatever's true or false. We just kind of like what do you say? We lay it out for you to play it out. But I get the feeling that Giuntoli came in and plugged all the leaks in terms of news. So I don't think, like, Alcaraz came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't think they really know what the hell's going on in that clubhouse and what they're thinking. Yeah.
And we got a storm in the barn here before we get to a more generalized outlook to kind of close things off. It's crazy right now with everything going on. But he says, with a good mercado, Allegri is expected to go for a Scudetto next season. Can we ask that of a new coach in their first year? Because I want to win now. That's interesting. So
I was actually going to pose that question. So Pierre, thanks for bringing that up.
Anth, I want to get your answer.
It's sort of silly. If you get a new coach in here, you normally give them. We always say give them like a mercado or two to get their team. So would it be fair if you bring Motta in to say you got to win the Scudetto next year? Well, that's what we did with Pirlo and Sarri, but they didn't get enough time for their players in their system. Like you need to give a manager 2 years, right?
Yeah.
We gave Max 3? He's in his right. He's in his third, and what's he doing? He has us in second, probably third, and we have this little hiccup here. So I don't think it's fair to give a new manager that expectation. But this is Juventus. Like, what are we talking about here? It's Scudetto a bust every season.
Yeah. Yeah. I just.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of tough. It seems harsh to ask a guy to like.
It's harsh, yes.
If you finish second or third, whatever, okay, we got to make that next jump. But I don't know. I guess I would have to say it depends on the improvements made to the roster. Like if we do bring in what I deem, me personally, improvements to the weaknesses on the side, then yeah, I kind of would expect a boost out of the play, out of everything and what we're doing. So it's tough. It might seem harsh, but I don't know. For me, the expectation would be to improve on the year prior, even if it is a coaching change. So, and his first year, I would expect improvement. It's tough right now around Juve, everybody. This complete, like I said, brick wall that we hit for the past 3 years, like again and again and again. Mm-hmm. I can't see everything staying the same while this happens. I just can't. I can't. In terms of Danilo, 10 to 15 days is what's expected for the injury there. Okay.
Looks like no ligament damage, which is good.
Yeah, no ligament damage, but 10 to 15 days. So Rugani, Bremer, Gatti, but we will probably see Alexandro. What did I say about riding and dying with guys? Max, man, you might be digging your grave here, brother. You might be digging your grave if you haven't already with calls like that, but we will see. By the way, Matt, who isn't with us today, didn't get the AJC gear because Sandro did not start yesterday's game, which was a bet. So
you had another bet yesterday? I missed that one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we had a bet going. But Matt, yeah, he's going to have to pay something up to the AJC. All right, so that's one bet for us. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Hey, here we go.
Here we go. In terms of De Sciglio, back in the squad and called up next weekend against Frosinone, that could be the one that changes it all for us, everybody. Hey, still doesn't have as many minutes of Pogba. We're getting 52. Down to the nitty gritty.
Needs to beat 52. That's the number. 52 and a half over.
It's tough right now, you guys. These guys got to get it together. All of them. Coach, players, you got to figure out. You got Frosinone. And then what did I say? March was going to be so critical for Massive. Juventus. Now all of a sudden it looks like it could be absolute chaos because we've got Frosinone. Then you have Napoli, Atalanta, Genoa, and Lazio, okay, in March. That's a tough stretch. That's our March stretch of fixtures. And it's looking intense now, okay? And top four, all of a sudden, when we were saying, no worries, no concerns, well, shit, 9 points isn't a hell of a lot, okay? And things are getting dicey.
It should
now.
Be. 9 points should be a hell of a lot.
It should be. But if we can't turn it around, and like I said, this is the part that's infuriating, is that you're talking about Empoli, you're talking about Udinese, Hellas Verona, and you get 2 points. That is how you fuck up the table, everybody.
Yep.
That's exactly how you fuck up the table. In terms of, this is going to kind of be one of the questions that has been asked a lot is, what do you do with the lineup moving forward? And I said this because he chose not to make the statement in that last game, and I know it's Frosinone, and I know they're the worst team away from home. Yes, they still have some firepower. I'm sorry, but I'm taking out some of these guys that haven't been living up to the so-called key guy status or first name on the team sheet. I think you throw that out the window right now with what's going on. Do you agree with me?
Barring any injuries midweek in training, something stupid. Who's your starting 11 next week? Right now. Let's write it down. Let's see if they'll do it. You got Tech, obviously.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do what I would do.
Go ahead.
I know he won't.
I just want to write it down. Come on, go.
I would go Szczesny. And I would go Gatti, Bremer, Rugani.
Okay.
I would go with McKennie as your right wing back.
Yep.
I would go Cambiaso with your left wing back.
Oh, all right. Yep.
I would go with Hans Nicolucci Caviglia.
Interesting. Yep.
I would go with Locatelli. And I would go with Alcaraz and Chiesa with Vlahovic up top.
So 3-4-2-1?
Yeah. That's what I would do.
I like it. I'm just going to write that down. See if that comes. Save that for next week.
And, yeah, you guys might...
in the limited minutes I've seen him, I would 100% play Alcaraz over Medetti. Just bring something different.
Yeah. I just think, for me personally, okay, Kostic and Rabiot can't keep getting rewarded with first name on the team sheet. Can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that they're the only ones, because they're not.
Locatelli's riding that too.
He's riding that fucking edge, man.
He's riding that edge.
But the thing is, you have to start somewhere, and you still have to focus on getting the points.
And balance. You don't want to completely disrupt the balance.
We can't just say, hey, fucking all the young guys are going, let's get Meretti, Alcaraz, fucking Caviglia, all these guys out, Weah. You can't do that. You still have to focus on the results, which matter. But I think Max needs to get this thing of riding or dying with guys that have just not rewarded him out of his head and just see what happens. And when you're in a moment like this, you might have to throw caution to the wind and just say, fuck, we got to do something. You got to shake it up. You have to shake it up, in my opinion.
I'll even go so far as to say, if he doesn't start Rabiot next week, I'll give a jersey to one of the AJC Army members.
If he doesn't start?
Yes.
So if he starts... if he doesn't start him, you will...
He doesn't start Rabiot. I'd be shocked.
Yeah. And here we go. Pierce saying
Write that down,
chance
kids.
He drops Rabiot.
If Rabiot starts from the bench next week, I'll donate a jersey to the 55 that this guy had to pay for all season.
We'll see. We got a couple more en route. That's going to be the last, and then I'm done, and you will never see a bet like that again. But congratulations, everybody.
Now, that doesn't include if he's injured midweek in some stupid training accident.
Wait. No stipulations,
Come on.
man. Hey, I almost got burnt with the Sandro thing because Bremer got suspended. So, hey, it's all good. Yeah, you guys, that is what I would do, because that is one of the main questions around right now. Anth, I'm going to ask you, what would you do, like looking at my lineup that I've kind of drawn up? Is that along what you're thinking, or would you do something else?
I don't know about the 3-4-2-1. I think that's, again, I don't think this team's mentally strong enough to handle it for 90 minutes. I think it's something we could slide into, after like the 60th minute they'd get it. I like it though. I think it doesn't upset, like I said, it doesn't upset the balance of what we've been playing. It's just like minor changes here and there. I like the fact that Dusan and Chiesa out there. I want to see what this Alcaraz kid has. I know Medetti gets into the right positions. I'm going to say this about Medetti. People always think I hate on the kid. Yeah, he's still young. I get it. He gets to the right spots. It's just that that edge. He doesn't have that edge yet. Maybe it's just going to take time. Maybe it just takes some more panini. I don't know. But
Oh, I love a
this
good.
Alcaraz kid
I
seems
love
to
a
be
good
more
panino.
polished.
Love a good panino.
Oh,
Now,
God. Hungry.
Pierre, what do you guys think of Alcaraz? I think he's intriguing. I think he's intriguing,
Yes.
and I think we should see some more. We should see some more.
Mm-hmm.
I'd start him. I would start him against Frosinone based
Yes.
on what the other guys have done. He's something different. We need someone with his traits to kind of help out in the middle. I would absolutely start him. I think he's very, very intriguing. Now, we do have some outside stuff to talk about. Okay, so we had it's Roberto Baggio's birthday. One of the all-timers, okay? Absolute all-timers.
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell, could we have used Roberto Baggio?
As a 57-year-old.
And I see a friend of the show, long time OG supporter, Ramy, there out there on social media posting, even Baggio would fail under Allegri. Absolutely not. Baggio needed a ball, and that's it. Ball and a pitch, he'll do the rest. That's how fucking good that guy was, okay? Absolutely not. This whole coach's notion thing, whatever. Baggio was incredible, okay? One of my absolute... well, how could he not be one of my absolute favorites? Probably the most talented Italian player ever. I'd probably go as... I don't even think that's really in question. Most talented Italian.
Pretty hard to argue that against that one. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with it.
Yeah. Most talented Italian player, like, hands down.
I'm sure some of these older guys would have... guys older than us, if that's possible, would have some arguments with some of those other guys. But, yeah, sure. I'll say yes most of the time.
Yeah, for Italians, like and just talent, it just sheer talent, you know. I don't know.
And someone who played in that many fan bases, right, and is beloved across the country, across fan bases. Not going to find that these days.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, we're talking about Baggio.
Yeah,
you should look at some of the coaches this guy played under, that the heat and shit they took, whatever. It didn't matter with that guy. It didn't matter with that guy. It's a little bit of a stretch there, okay? But Omer Sivori was not Italian. Was Sivori Italian, actually? I didn't think he was Italian. Sivori could be up there. But I think Baggio's most talented Italian.
Come on. Stop it, everybody. You're going to hurt yourselves.
Trying to fight it?
You're going to hurt yourselves. Yeah, just trying to fight this. Just let it be.
Man. Omer Sivori, Argentine Italian. Okay. I thought he was solely Argentinian. So there we go. Okay. Sivori, be in the mix there. I'll give you that. Everybody. Okay. But... you know, it's a fucking war zone out there right now for Juventus.
Yeah. Twitter's kind of it's a bit of a battle zone. Opposing fan bases love it as always, but is what it is.
Yeah.
You got to fight through it, kids. You really just got to fight through it.
Yeah, that's all you really can do. And like I said, we have our feelings, we have our opinions, we have whatever, but I don't really know what the correct step is. I don't think anybody really knows, but I'm hoping that the management does, because they're the ones on the day-to-day and they got to figure this mess out. So as far as Allegri goes, you're going to have to figure it out. But like I said today, I'm not Allegri in, I'm not Allegri out. Okay. I am always pro Juventus. Okay. The guys that are there day to day have to sort this mess out. But I am not willing to relieve accountability from these players that don the shirt. And I stand firm on my take that we are trying to make a living out of a majority of guys that are probably just squad players at an actual Juventus team, a real Juventus team. Okay. And we're trying to make a living out of these guys. Okay. So as far as expectations go and stuff like that, I think everybody's expectations are different. And it's great that we can just simply make a statement like this. 3 years, I want a Scudetto. Yeah, that's normal. Have these 3 years been anything but normal? Has the team on paper increased dramatically on paper from year 1 to year 3? Have those players shown it on the pitch? There's a lot of these other things that take away this whole 3 years, I want a Scudetto thing. It's context. It's perception. It's all of this. So I still think at the end of the day, you keep hitting a stone wall, you're cooking with fire. I'd like to see Max change things up. I'm not sure if he does. All we can do is hurry up and wait for that game against Frosinone. Anth, your closing thoughts on this one as we wrap things up?
Well, I like this question here. How many of our current squad start for the 2017 Champions League finalist Juventus team? I was trying to bring up the squad.
Yeah, bring up the squad.
I think my answer is going to be 0, but I got to try and lineups. Here we go. So Juventus had the big 3 at the back: Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini, Sandro. So it was a 4-2-3-1, and then the 2 were Pjanic and Khedira. And then Dani Alves, Dybala, Mandzukic, and then Higuain. How many players from this team start in that one?
Okay.
Bremer.
Maybe.
Figure out how to get Bremer in there.
Because those guys were so good, but let's give you Bremer, okay?
Pjanic, Khedira.
Who's taking him out? McKennie?
Right. I'm going to say they'd probably stay in there.
Oh, yeah.
Dani Alves, Dybala, Mandzukic.
I don't see. Nope. Maybe Chiesa can get in there, but I doubt it.
Over Dani Alves? Maybe. And then I'm taking Higuain over Dusan what are we talking about?
I don't think. So, I think you got maybe one guy.
Maybe one. Maybe Bremer. Bremer.
That's what we need to strive.
That's where I'll leave it.
Yeah.
Did I freeze up?
Yeah, that's what we need to strive for more than anything. Is that, okay? That's what we need to strive for. But you guys, all we can do is hurry up and wait. Frozenone's next on deck. You guys take it easy out there. It's a war zone. Let's see what happens. Let's see where the chips fall. We have to right the ship. For Max, I ask you, please make some changes. All right? Make some changes. Let's see what goes down. Everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. We'll be keeping you live in tune with the news updates as always, all right? And we'll speak to you all throughout the week, and then we'll see what happens with Frosinone. Can't drop anything there. Take care, everybody. Thank you as always. Live chat, you guys are fantastic. All right, so take care. Fino alla fine. Forza Juve, no matter what. Ciao tutti.
Set the tone.
Yeah.